Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. I hope you had a great day. Let's take a look at some new r/malicious compliance stories, shall we? The first story is called Follow the Contract. My first job out of bar school was with an ambulance chasing firm. I worked 12 to 8 PM in the call center, calling people after accidents to get them to sign with us for a personal injury claim. Officially, this was not cold calling, as the details were passed to us by insurance companies. They assured us that each lead had confirmed injuries and asked to speak to our lawyer. I have my doubts over how truthful the insurers were. A number of people I called denied any injury or seemed surprised to be contacted by a solicitor's firm. But that is not the cause of the story. I was very good at my job. Our target was for 10 new claims a day. So if you got a car with a driver and passenger in the front and 3 in the back, you were laughing as that one call was half your quota. Many colleagues would go onto our slow once they had their 10, but I kept busy. If nothing else, it was boring there when not working and time dragged. This is why I would average about 25 new clients a day. After 6 months we get a new manager in the call center. One of those micromanager types, which is a style I do not respond well to. I start getting emails saying things like, "You were 30 seconds, 1 minute and 23 seconds late logging into the system today. Make sure you stay late by that much time." Now, I should point out that up until now, I logged out at the end of my shift bang on time unless I was on a call. In this case, I would finish it. And if this was a call with 5 people in, you could be stuck for another 45 minutes. We also had to turn the computers off at the end of the day. Easy, hit shut down and walk off, and turn them on at the start of our shift. With the computers being slow, this could take 5 minutes before you could log into the call system. I pointed out that logging into the call system 30 seconds late meant I had actually turned the computer on, which was technically part of my job, about 4.5 minutes before my shift started. And that I stayed late regularly to finish calls. The manager told me that the time to turn the computer on was not part of my job, and that I had to be ready to make calls bang on 12. I contacted Human Resources. They reluctantly agreed that turning on the computer was one of our duties and therefore we only needed to be ready to press the power button at 12. The new manager was not easily binned though. He started looking at the time we got to our desks. And then, as is always the case when relying on public transport, if you were a few seconds or minutes late, he would send the email telling you to work the extra time at the end of your shift. I decided that I had had enough of this. And so I decided to rock to rule. I stopped trying to get new clients after hitting my 10 for the day. I would play on the internet unless getting an incoming call from someone responding to a voicemail. I wouldn't make any outgoing calls after hitting the daily target. I also decided that if I was on a call at 8 PM, I would simply tell the potential clients, "My shift is now finished," hang up and turn the computer off. I did this for a week and encouraged others to do it as well. When the weekly stats hit my boss's desk, he realized we were about a third down in terms of clients secured compared to other weeks. He called us into a meeting with his head of the department and bollocked us all. He was asking why we were all lazy and not securing clients. He was screaming about us hanging up on clients. I just said, "You told us you wanted us to work as required by the contract, down to the second. That's all we are doing. Do you not like it?" A few weeks later he was gone and a much more sensible manager moved to us. Things went back to the way they were. I ended up staying at the firm for 7 years, although only in the call center for 9 months before moving on to case handling and then trial work. The next story is called Dissolve My Department. I work in a highly specialized field where it is very difficult to find and find suitable personnel. By pinching pennies and not holding his promises about pay grade changes, my boss successfully drove away the 3 specialists working in the department I led. Right before the last one put in a notice, he argued that a 2-person department didn't justify a leadership position and demoted me. We were integrated on paper into another department. This was done outside of any legal framework and with a 1-week notice, which is illegal. During the reorganization, the manager of the department we joined was assigned to R&D. And another manager and his deputy were promoted to lead the department's daily business. We effectively had no less than 3 supervisors. All of them were lacking managerial training and technical knowledge about the duties of our now defunct department. And only one of them can read the language in which 50% of our reports are written. Right after the reorganization, I was granted one last meeting with the boss. I pointed out that several of my duties cannot be bestowed upon the mere foot soldier I had become, nor taken over by the new leadership. He answered that his decision was final. I was to revert to my previous job description and should take up any future matters with my new supervisors. I did just that, and some more. I read the state law and ordinance about state and university employees. Should have done it earlier in hindsight. I discovered that the illegal move by my boss doesn't carry any penalty. So there's nothing I can do legally. I'm allowed to take on private mandates for anything that is not explicitly mentioned in my job description. It's a gift normally meant for professors. I get to take up to 15 days of additional paid leave per year to hold a public office. And the pay grade I reverted to doesn't match my responsibilities today, even excluding the absence of a leadership position. And there's an independent procedure with state HR to re-evaluate the pay grade. The kicker? My old job description that dates back to 7 years before is short, to say the least. 3 lines that don't even cover 50% of what my duties in the last 7 years consisted of. And I have a side gig as a retained firefighter and fire instructor, with which I used to take vacation days. This counts as public office according to state law. My new managers both signed the authorization to take on private mandates and public office without understanding the implication. I used all of the 15 days where I legally get paid by the fire department and my employer at the same time. I took on several private mandates, totaling nearly an additional month of salary for 4 days of work. And the pay grade re-evaluation has brought me back to the same income as with the previous leadership position. And my specialty now has a buzz factor of 1. And my new supervisors have been unable to staff the open positions. So it was very unlucky that I fell ill at the time where I had to submit paperwork for a research grant, costing the institution $30,000 in lost research funds. The last story is called Jukebox Compliance. I'm a bartender at a little hole-in-the-wall watering hole with a very regular and very loyal customer base. I had last night off, so I met up with a friend at another bar for a few drinks and some food. After supper, we decide to walk to the bar I work at to cap off the evening. We get there and there's good energy going on. The music is a bit louder than usual and there are maybe 10 patrons in the bar. We have this one customer who is extremely wealthy. It's nothing for him to spend $200 to $400 per night multiple times a week buying everyone rounds. As such, he's treated like royalty around there. So I'm sitting there having a really good time, enjoying a beer, and decided that I want to add a song to the jukebox. I grab a $5 bill and walk over, only to notice 63 credits showing on the screen. No big deal, I think. I just put my $5 in, request a few songs and leave the 63 credits untouched. But no. Our wealthy regular, let's call him Jack, sees me pursuing the jukebox and comes up and physically pushes me away from it. I asked him what the heck he thinks he is doing. He says those are his credits and no one is allowed to touch the jukebox till he used them up. I point out that I have my own $5 and no intention of using any of his credit. Nope, not good enough. No one is allowed to touch it till he is done with them. I know it's not worth arguing, so I step back and he starts requesting songs till he used up every single credit. Each song costs 2 to 5 credits, so he put in a lot of songs. Each song gives you the option to pay an extra 2 credits to have your song played next, but I noticed he wasn't using it. This particular brand of jukebox has an accompanying phone app. I didn't have it downloaded prior to last night, but I do now. I calmly sit down at my table with my friend and put my plan in motion. I go to the App Store, find the app, download and install it, create an account and purchase $10 worth of credits. I request 2 songs and pay the extra 2 credits to fast track them. I sit there in quiet anticipation. And I can see that Jack is starting to get into a groove with the music he had requested. His heart gloriously sings when Boom 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 by Sam and the Worm comes on. No big deal, guys, his song must be next. Nope, it's Wannabe by the Spice Girls. He sits down, dejected. I quickly purchase another $20 in credits. I request Baby by Justin Bieber, Livin' La Vida Loca by Ricky Martin, XLF by Crazy Frog and Foil by Weird Al Jankovic. And I fast track every one of them. Partway through Foil, I noticed Jack sulking in his chair. So I purchase another $20 in credits and proceed to request more songs. They are starting to realize something is up. So Jack and a few staff who were on last night convene at the jukebox to try to figure it out. At this point, the Cantina March from Star Wars is playing. They turn the jukebox off, then back on again. The song continues. They turn it off, then back on. It still continues. The machine is each time picking up where it left off. I can't hold my laughter and let out a muted chuckle. One of my co-workers catches on. She comes over with her phone in her hand with the app open and shoves it in my face with a "How dare you." I quietly get up, down my last mouthful of beer, put my jacket on and walk out without a word. I walk down the street to a greasy spoon that our staff and customers are regulars at due to proximity. I sit down, order a beer and a burger and proceed to log back into the app. I purchase another $10 worth of credits and fast track All I Want for Christmas by Mariah Carey and Mickey by Tony Basil as one last bite me to Jack. My $40 was no less valid than his. And no one customer gets to commandeer the tunes for the entire night and physically block anyone else from touching it. I showed up for my shift tonight. The same coworkers were there and Jack was there. But no one said anything to me, not even Jack. In fact, Jack even bought me a shot tonight. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Let me know what you think about the stories in the comment section below. Have a great day. Bye bye.